Okay, so from what I've seen, you guys did a great job. Remember, this needs to be big, because what we did was, when we said, what is it that you need to think about? Is it the, or you said, I understand you need to think about it. What is it? Is it the? And you went over a number of things. Going back in the steps, you're at step 6, so you said, is step 5 okay? Which is the forms, the dates, the terms. Then they said, yeah, and you went back again to step 4, and you said, is there anything with the price? Are you good with this price? Are you good with the net? And you confirmed, and then you confirmed the commissions. Then you went back another step, said, are you good with our marketing plan? So there's a number of things that we confirmed as we went back, right? Let me just black this out again so everybody's paying attention. Okay, so there's a number of things. So there's a wide variety of things that they may have a concern with or an objection that we're trying to get them to say, and they still might just say, no, we're good, and finally, is it me? And they're like, no, it's not. So you just can't pull nothing, but there's definitely something they got to think about. Would you agree?
Yeah.
There's something. And I need you to take it that serious. You may not overact like I teach up here, but you need to be the person with if they're saying just leave please, then leave. So I'm not telling you to stay if they want you to leave. But just because they figure it comes to that conclusion, don't assume that you have to leave. You may say a few things and they may be okay with you telling them more info or showing them more information. Just remember that, okay?
Okay.
Don't you be the one to sabotage this thing. Make sure that you've exhausted everything you can, and they either are literally not listening and they've given you an answer. I mean, you get a yes, they're going to list with you. That's great if it's saleable. But if they give you a no because it's not saleable or they're going to use somebody else, that's a good answer too. Why is it no, I'm not listing with you? What's so good about that? What do you think's good about that? Right? We're not listing with you. What's good about that for you?
And move on to the
You
next
can move on. Instead of a maybe that never materializes. Drive you crazy. It can be, well, stress may not be the word, but you know, when you're waiting to see, you're getting all excited and then you're waiting, what does that do to you? You can feel it wear you out, can't you?
Yeah.
Wears you out. So back on here. Okay, so it's not me? Okay, well, listen, before I go, I just want to let you know it usually comes down to 3 things. So now you took, what is it, and down into 3 things, but you made them big. And you didn't say they were big, you wrote it down big. So some of you, a little bit of chicken scratch here is no impact. Does that make sense? There's a little nudge here, and it's like you're just making it, all the impact is disappearing, right? So if you're not going to be doing as much impact vocally, but you might say, so it usually comes down to one of the 3 things. Sometimes people are just, and then they look at you making this big, not sure, they're like, oh, and you say, well, it's pretty important, you know? And you don't want to like overact too much, so just write it out, but just make it big. And sometimes they just maybe don't trust me to get the job done, so maybe there's more things we need to revisit here, or sometimes, actually most of the time, it usually comes down to the money. And I would say that if you kind of feel that, right? And then what if they don't sign? Don't circle, I mean, that it's money. What if they say, no, we're good with all that stuff? And then you're like, oh, so you're good with that? All right, well, you know, then obviously it makes sense to probably pack up. Does it make sense? Yeah? Probably makes sense. But remember I said I have how many techniques for everything? 3. We just did 2. So I even have another one that you're going to role play in a second. And the afterthought technique right here is, and I'll show you how they all tie in together. But let me ask you this. If you're at step 6 where you say, do you have any questions? And they actually tell you that we just want to know if you'll reduce your commissions, or we just want to know if you can go at a higher price, or we just want to know if you can wait for till after the holidays. They told you, do you have to do any of this stuff? Hello?
No.
No, of course not. This is to find the real reason. So most of the time they just give you the real reason. Are you guys familiar, are aware of that? Most of the time they just tell you, so you don't have to do any of this. So you'd say, well, why do you spend so much time teaching this way? I think the biggest reason is that even though you don't have to use it much, when you know that you can handle anything, even a skull, and convert it, you're going to carry yourself more confident. Just carry yourself. You know, somebody will say something, and your body language will say this stuff. You will hardly have to say any words at all, and they'll tell you. Pretty good, hey? But let's pretend you have to play out the whole thing. If we were to pack up, so you're sitting down at the table, and I'd say, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna head out now. I just wanted to thank you for having me, so thank them for their time. So let me teach it and show you how to do it, and then you can role play it as well. Fair enough?
Yes.
So, how much time do you need to think about it? 2 days? Okay, so, right now we're at, let's say it's 5 in the afternoon, okay? So it'll be 5 o'clock on Friday, does that sound about right? And they go, yeah. And then I want you to book an appointment from the appointment. Let's get another appointment. So you say, so I'll be in the area, and you will because you'll be coming to this appointment. And you say, I'll be in the area, and so I'll come in here at 5 o'clock on Friday. Fair enough? Or would 6 be better? You could do that too. And they either say yes or no. Isn't that right? Remember, we can't, like you book an appointment, they don't show up, that's out of your control. And there's might have been a few things we could do with, with different things to help set it up better. And it's the same with, if we say, I can come back on Friday, is 5 good or 6 better? It's out of our control if they say, no, we'll call you. But they might say yes, right?
Yes.
The question is, will you at least try?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the question, because some people won't even try. So you say, okay, a couple days, so around 5 on Friday, I guess you'll know, right? And they go, yeah. And they're thinking, you're just going to say, well, call me. But you'll say, that's great. I'll come back Friday at 5. I'll be in the area, and we can discuss it. So thanks for having me. And they'll either say yes or no or whatever, right? And then what you do is you want to grab your book. Now you book your appointment before you stand up. Okay? And then you get your book and you stand up. And when you guys role play, you can just stand up. You don't have to take 2 steps like I am. You can just stand up and just kind of turn and go, you know what? Let's pretend that it's Friday at 5. Okay? It's Friday at 5. And let's pretend you were to say no, that you didn't want to list with me. I hope not, but if you did say no, what do you think that one reason might be? I don't want you to overthink this, I just want you to do it. Like if you had a script and you were acting, and they gave you a script and said, I just want you to stand up, turn, stop, look back, and say, let's pretend it was Friday, and if you were to say no, what would be the reason you wouldn't hire me? If it was a script, you could do it, yes?
Yes.
But because you're trying to make sense of it as if, would you actually do it in real person? Some of you have decided that you don't want to do it, because you're not, you're newer. So look at it instead like we're here just learning how to act. Can you do that?
Yes.
For the role play. So if it was Friday and you were to say no, what would the one reason be, right? And that's the one reason why. And then you need to wait for their response.
Ooh.
Right? And now, just remember, you've given them a few hours of your time. You deserve the real reason why they don't want to list right now. Would you agree?
Yes.
You deserve the real reason.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be confrontational. If we do this, and it may be a mixture of things, right? You may say, well, what is it? Is it the forms? Is it this and that? No, no, no. Usually it comes down to 1 of 3 things. It could be this, this, or that. Is anything there? No, we're good. Okay, well, thanks for having me. Before I go, I just want to ask you, how much time do you need to think about it? And you try to book that appointment. When we role play, everything has to be role played in a positive outcome just to get to the next step. So you're going to say, yes, come Friday at 5 when you role play. And the seller say that. And then the realtor is going to stand up with their book. You're just going to have it like this and turn and stop and say, listen, I was just curious. Because I'm just wondering, if it was Friday right now at 5 o'clock and you were to say, no, I'm not listening with you, what do you think what might be the one reason? And I want them to say, I think we're looking for somebody to list the house at a higher price. That's fine, okay? And then when we come back, I'll show you how we deal with that. So we can pause that.